I'm Paul Wolf, and this is My City TV.
Talking about my city. Jackson, Mississippi.
Welcome, George Ewing, to the program today. George is a member of the Metro Master Gardeners here in Jackson. George, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
Now, I love this. Right before we came on, you said to me, I'll talk to a fence post, so it's why I got tapped to be here today. Is it true?
That is true. I have very little shyness. And, if you're passionate about a subject, it makes it that easier to talk about.
Yeah, I know this about you. Yeah, you're a very gregarious and outgoing sort of person. So I'm glad you're here today. You're going to be a lot of fun to tell folks about the Metro Master Gardeners annual plant sale going on this weekend at Mynelle Gardens. I do want to talk about that. I do, but we're going to save that for a little later on. First, I want folks to know a little bit more about you. Who is George Ewing?
Well, I'm a landscape architect. Have wanted to be a landscape architect since I was a little kid, and went to school at Mississippi State for that. I got a degree in that. I practiced landscape architecture with the city of Jackson for close to 30 years. And during that time, I worked on some really great projects. And I also had the opportunity to, learn and grow and become a master gardener. But I worked on some great projects and all over the city of Jackson. I mean, from, far north as you go, far south. I mean, just all over the city in places that, y'all have never seen.
And you just love plants. So, I mean, isn't it great to have a hobby that also can be your job too?
Oh, yeah. And I would be out going to a job site, and there would be an abandoned house, or there'd be, a vacant lot. And I would just stop and, dig a flower out of the yard and put it in mine. So flowers are great.
Yeah, I'm glad you have a love for this, because you're the perfect person to talk to about the plant sale coming up this weekend, and about Mynelle Gardens too. I know there are people who don't even know where or what Mynelle Gardens is, so we'll get to that soon. But you mentioned your work with the city of Jackson. You talked about having projects that you loved all over the city. What were some of your favorite projects you worked on over the years?
Well, there were always just basic projects that were, putting plants in the ground or something like that. But, the projects that really touched my soul and my heart were like the Palm Bridges Park Playground. Because, I mean, that's a quality of life issue for families. And that park is so big that, I mean, it affects so many people. And also another great thing about that project was that it brought together the city of Jackson and civic groups and two moms that were just, we want a better place for our kids to play. So two moms got together and they spearheaded this effort, and they raised about $350,000, and the city put in, roughly the same amount. And that's how that park got built. Other really great project that we did is the sidewalk improvement projects in Fondren, which dealt with beautification and wayfinding and branding, but it was working with the Fondren group to help enhance what they were doing by providing handicapped accessible sidewalks and throughout the area. Another one that they just finished up that was really a neat project was the Museum to Market Trail, taking that old abandoned rail line and turning it into a biking and walking trail that goes all the way to the museums at LaFleur's Bluff. That was a really great project, and that'll really affect a lot of people. See, the city of Jackson's really trying to move toward being the hub of that type of stuff, where the bicycle paths are coming, into downtown but radiating out into the city. So, our plans were to hopefully connect it to Ridgeland one day.
Yeah, you've worked on some really meaningful stuff here in the city and continue to do meaningful things as well in your retirement now. The Metro Master Gardeners annual plant sale at Mynelle Gardens. Going to talk more about that with George Ewing right after this. Back with George Ewing. George is a retired landscape architect with the city of Jackson, but still has his hands in the dirt, still keeping us planted and beautified all over the city. Now, George, before the break, we talked about the annual plant sale coming up this weekend at Mynelle Gardens, and I know some people are scratching their heads. Where in the heck is Mynelle Gardens? It's such a treasure for the city, such a little known treasure. Tell us more.
It is. Mynelle Gardens, I'm going to look at my notes that I have here because I do want to give you the right address. Mynelle Gardens is at 4736 Clinton Boulevard, and pretty much where Dixon Road dead ends into Clinton Boulevard is where Mynelle Gardens is. Mynelle Gardens has been a City of Jackson facility since 1973. It's 6 acres. It started out a mother and daughter started growing flowers for their little flower shop, which is Greenbrook Flowers.
Oh, wow.
That's how it started. So they finally developed all the property that they had, and they had a little family compound there. It's a great facility. It's available for rent. You know, I don't get anything for pushing this, but you know, if you're looking for an outdoor venue for a wedding or a reception or something like that, that's a good facility. But it's just a really neat place to go. It's got walking trails. It's handicap accessible. It's got lakes and ponds and stuff. It's really neat. Y'all need to go if you haven't been.
Yeah, and Saturday is a good time to check that out. The
Yeah.
annual Metro Master Gardeners plant sale. It's a mouthful and get it all out. 8:30 on Saturday morning. What happens at that plant sale, George?
Okay, let's just say, pretend you have a shovel and you're at your grandmother's house or your great aunt's house that has the green thumb, and you can take whatever you want. You know, it's going to be that kind of stuff. If you need um, pretty seasonal flowers, then you need to go to your local nursery center and buy those. These are going to be the things these are going to be pass along plants that you can't really find anywhere else. Things that bring back memories of growing up in the country, or like I said, grandmother, or great aunt or something like that. So these are the plants that we're going to have, and you can also tour the gardens when you get through with it. But I think the most expensive thing is about $10. You know, we do prefer cash, but we have we have the plants, but we also have the people. So if you are looking for a certain type of plant for sun or shade or drought or wet, here you have the people to ask you that. And I would like to really throw this out since we're talking about plants and all that. The Metro Master Gardeners has a page on Facebook, so you can contact us there. If you ever have any questions about plants or even canning or farming or something like that, there's a really good website. It's called MSU Cares. Google that or type that in your search engine. MSU Cares, one word, and that's the state of Mississippi's Extension Service website. And you can, in their little search window, you can type in anything that you're looking for. If it's about pests or weeds or grasses or fruits, type it in. And so there, I've told everybody something that they didn't know and they need to know.
Yeah, and speaking of which, just like quick and dirty, 3 tips if you want to do some planting for this spring.
3 tips. You want to put a 50-cent plant in a $5 hole. That means you want to really make sure that you prepare your soil properly. In our area, it's usually adding organic matter, whether it's cow manure or pine bark mulch or something. You need to add organic matter. our soils tend to dry out during the summer, so you need to make sure that they stay wet. And mulch. Mulch is very important to keep the moisture in during our hot summer months. I mean, you could probably look in your yard now and see what was mulched and what wasn't mulched during the recent freeze. So mulch is just, I mean, it's good in the summer, it's good in the winter. So organic matter, water, mulch.
All right, George. Going to put links to some of those resources in our show notes for this episode so people can find out more on those planting tips. But I always have to ask everybody that comes on the show, Jackson is our state capital. Jackson's a really important place. And you spent 30 years officially working for the city of Jackson to make it a better place. Why do you think Jackson is so important?
Well, my family, my dad's family was from Jackson. So they've been around for a long time. My mother's family is from Clinton, where I live now. I mean, there is so much history and so many treasures, and there's so much talent in the city. You have places like Mynelle Gardens that not everyone's experienced. I mean, there are just so many things like that all over the city. So many wonderful, kind, loving, giving people throughout our city, and the city of Jackson just deserves to be loved.
He is a member of the Metro Master Gardeners and will be at the plant sale on Saturday. You can meet George in person. George Ewing, thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me.
That's the show. Check us out at JXN.MS and join us for another episode of My City TV.